Okay, so something that we're going to work on now is we're going to work on the front part of our body over here, which is where the magazine goes in. So yeah, we're finally done with like the more tricky parts, so now we will have a bit more of an easier time, hopefully. So knowing that, now in this case, this front part, we cannot actually do symmetry, and I'll show you, because this part over here is different than on the other side. See, the other side has like a pattern like this, and this one has a pattern like this. So just, yeah, it doesn't really matter if we do symmetry for this, so I'm just not going to do it. I know a different way that we can do this that is just as easy. So if we go ahead and let's just see how intact our mesh is. Okay, so we have like two edges. Oh no, wait, we have another edge sitting here. That's what I mean with intact. So this one, I can remember because we removed that one to keep it nicely here at the top. If I just double click this, and if I just deselect, let's say this one, and this one, and press Ctrl Backspace, I'm just gonna go ahead and do like quick target weld like this. There we go, just to keep those connected. Also, something that we'll need to do later on is add a little bit more geometry over here, because right now it still feels quite low poly, but that's actually part of the strategy, to keep things low poly and then just add more geometry later on. So this should be about fine. Now, if you do not like having this geometry, which I can see, then we could like get rid of it simply by merging it down, let's say over here. So if we, just to keep it as clean as possible for you guys. Normally I would just like work with it, but if I just merge this down here, because at this point, yeah, we just need to be careful that we keep our geometry quite clean. So we can do something like this. And I'm fine with just this edge over here. So if I go ahead and select, oh, I'm still at select by angle. So what I want to do is go here. Let's see, we're already at this point. And if we just have a quick look and see how the flow goes. So we want to extrude this out and down up until around this point. And then what we want to do is we want to grab that face and then we want to just extrude this sideways. Once we've done that, I will first of all just like create this little lip over here. Then I will go to the other side where I will create this shape over here, which I think is quite important. And once we've done that, I will first of all just create like these pieces here. And with this piece is the first time that we are going to go into the territory where we need to decide if we're just going to have this in the high poly and not have it all attached to this mesh, so that it is not one solid mesh, but that it is just sitting on top of the mesh, or if we are going to merge it all together and stuff like that. So, knowing that faces are selected, yes, let's do a quick Shift E. Let's merge this all the way over here. Let's go ahead and do then another Shift loop up until, let's see, this point over here. And then you can just click and then hold Alt and then deselect to select these faces. And I'm going to move them up here. And then go to vertex mode and then move this one down here. Let's see, is that even? I want to work quite precise with this model. Okay, that looks pretty much even. Now another thing is that we have over here, we have our little knob. Okay, so this is perfectly round. There's no cutoff, nothing weird going on like that. So in that case, what I can do is I can simply create a cylinder over here, because that's actually easier. 32, let's go a little bit lower. 24. And let's do Alt X so that I can actually see what I'm doing. Oh, I'm on the wrong scaling mode. There we go. Okay, so it looks like it's about, I'm gonna go, it feels like it's cut off, but I'm just going to make this nice and round. So I'm gonna go around this point. Yeah. Convert this to an edit poly. And then what you can do is you can simply go to face select and deselect half of this, so that all we have left is this part over here, which we can then attach to this piece and this part over here. Now this part over here, I just need to do Shift E, set everything to 0, and then press OK so that I can move this forward. Like that. Okay, so let's see. Looks like that I need to just move this up, because I cannot move that other piece up. So let's move this up a little bit. Out. There we go. So that's just a little bit wider. Yeah, see here. That's what I mean. Like, it looks like a cutoff. Let's just have a quick look at other references. Now, they all seem round on that end. Do I have one on the other end? Yeah, see, it all looks round. So I'm not sure what that is. Maybe this specific design is cut off, but in this case I'm just going to ignore it. And I'm just going to leave it like this. So I'm going to select this one, Shift E, and then simply move this plane down over here. And we're just going to add it like this. Up until, let's say, this point. I might need to move it around a little bit more once I can actually see what I'm doing, because right now it's just a really thin line. I'm just going to add an extra Swift loop over here so that I can actually connect that. I know that the geometry looks messy, but that's something that we can easily clean up later on. So we got like this piece over here. Let's go ahead and actually move it in location. So it looks like that it is all part as one solid piece. So let's do Alt X. Select this side and move this side over here. There we go. So we got those two pieces. And now if we just go ahead and select this, delete these two faces, and press attach to this piece, we can now simply go into vertex mode. Sorry if it sometimes takes a second for me to go into vertex mode. I have this little bug going on that is with my video card and I just cannot figure it out. It's been a really long time. It just happened where it just takes a second longer for me to when switching modes, and I try to look online, I can't find anything. So okay, so we got this. Actually having this segment over here is actually quite handy. So of course now we have like a bunch of little polys that we need to connect and everything. Let's go ahead and yeah, we can do that now. So often if you try to do bridge with this, it tends to not look good, but we can give it a go. You just need to deselect this face or edge and this edge and press bridge. Or if that happens, just deselect the first half and bridge it, so that you can like tell the system, okay, first focus on this, and this one still needs a bridge. Yeah, this looks too messy. I don't like this. The reason I don't like this is because all of these edges are going to one point. When we are baking, that will not work very well with all of our smoothing and tangent spaces. Let's instead go over here and let's do this. Let's select these and bridge those. Because if we bridge these pieces, and if we then just, for example, add like a few extra segments up here, that will give us quads, which will give us a better result. Now it won't be all quads, but it doesn't have to be, it just has to be for like the majority of it. Here, so now I can go over here. And now we get to this point where I can say, let's select this and this one and move it down. Probably doesn't bridge. Oh, it does. Else I was expecting it not to do that. But then we can just go ahead and like do a cap poly here. And this side we also need to just squat. So that's the thing when we don't do symmetry, is that we now do need to do this on the other side. But after this it's literally just an extrusion, and the way that we are going to extrude is by doing both sides at the same time with all of our extruding. And that's where in the end it doesn't take that much longer. It's just for optimization, it takes a little bit longer. But yeah, so over here I can do this. And actually what I'm thinking about is I can just as well do this off camera, because I need to get used to this being an advanced tutorial, and that I don't need to show you or hold your hand in with like every little thing. So I'm just going to bridge this side. Here we go. Easy does it. Okay, so we got that part done. That's looking good. This one goes straight, which this is where the ending is for this piece, so that's fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm probably going to go ahead and work on this piece over here. So for this piece, what we're going to do is double check the thickness. It feels a little bit thin. Nah, actually, yeah, it does feel like a little bit thin, but we still need to extrude this. That's why. See, so I was already noticing like something felt wrong. So we are going to extrude this. If I do an Alt X, we are simply going to select What you can do is if you hold Alt, you can actually select here in the center, and as soon as you just release Alt, you can just select these pieces. Do the same over here. So I just want to select all of this stuff. Oh, make sure to hold Control if you do it the second time. So to Alt X, I have a feeling like that there are double vertices somewhere, but that's something that I can work on. So we got these pieces over here. Now what we're going to do is just keep on a good image for this. I think this is a good one, so that you can see. So we're just going to extrude this a little bit, like you can see over there. So just do a Shift E. Make sure that it is set to local normal. And let's extrude this out. Now I'm going to look first of all on this edge. And then I want to look and make sure that this side looks quite beefy. If it doesn't look beefy, I'm okay with just like scaling this out a little bit more until it does. And now it does. See? This looks nice and beefy. And this side just has an edge. So we can press OK. And all we need to do is later on this side, we just need to manipulate the edge. But before we do that, we want to go ahead, select this side. And I'm going to, this edge over here is a little bit sharp. So I want to probably mimic something more like this, which is like it's like a bit more of like a softer edge. I'm just double checking to see if we have like a better view of this. Because here, see, there are many different edges that you can work with. So just choose the one that you want. Now I'm gonna use this one, but just follow my lead. We also still need to add like quite a bit of beveling to this, just to support this shape. So if I go ahead and I first of all want to do an Shift E and move it out up until pretty much this edge. So just move it out wherever we are going to transition back into like a more straight piece. So I'm now going to go ahead, scale this out like this. And now if you want to also scale it like this side, often object view works, but or local view works, but I don't know if it does now. Yes, it does. So sometimes your transforms are a little bit messed up, but it looks like that this time it does work. So I'm going to just move this out, give it some scaling. I'm gonna follow this line over here, not so much this line. Okay, we need to decide on the thickness. So I'm going to make this a little bit more over here. And once that's done, just do another Shift E. Move this out up until this point, and this becomes straight because we will use bevels in order to make it round. So we can move it out and up until this, up until this point. And over here, what we will do is we will later on insert it. First of all, I want to focus on this. So I want to make this like a little bit bulging, like you can see over here. And then I just want to go ahead and create two bevels. So if we go, and let's see, I think I want to do this one first, because that one will take care of like the bottom shape. So if I go and do a chamfer settings, here you can already see what I'm planning to do. That edge is very close, that's a bit annoying. I'm just going to very quickly select this edge over here. Just move it like this, because right now it is in the way. And chamfer stop whenever there's another edge. So if the edges are too close together, this is why it's quite annoying if you want to do like a chamfer when you have a lot of small dense geometry next to each other. So let's have a look. We are also going to work on that one, but don't worry about that. For this one, I'm just having a look at my reference to see roughly how round I need this to be. Let's go for something like this. Let's double click and select this one. Okay, actually this one, I think I first want to go over here. If you do a Swift loop and you hold Shift, what that does is it often gives you like it often just pushes out your geometry. It looks like because of the angle it doesn't really do this now, but it does work. So if you hold like Shift here, see? In this case it doesn't do it the correct way, but sometimes it does. Just believe me on that. But if that is not working, then I'm just going to do a ring with a single connect. And this single connect, I just want to go ahead and, let me guess, my connect settings are still, yeah. So we're doing the same technique as that we've done at the front, where we just go ahead and like do a single connect like this. and this, and then just do like a chamfer settings over here. See, just to make that round, and then this feels quite straight. We might want to just or do an extra chamfer here, or we want to just push this back a little bit. But for now, this is fine. So as soon as I press OK, there will be a lot of overlapping vertices here because we have these edges merged together. So just quickly go into your vertex mode and select it all, and just do a weld on like a very low level so that those are all welded together. Now for this one, so if I was having a look, I'm gonna go select both of these, and I don't think I can go to local for this. No, I cannot. So let's go into view. Let's move this up a little bit more. There we go. So that now if I just go ahead and like select this one, do like a quick chamfer, just like not a big one, but just to accommodate with this shape a little bit more. There we go, see? So that now feels a little bit more rounder, and that works a little bit better. Okay, so we got that one. Now we definitely need to do quite a bit of beveling here. So it looks like it bevels, and then it kind of like stops wherever we have this piece down here. And let's see, so and then over here it also bevels, but it just transitions over to the other side. Over here it bevels and it stops around here. Okay, that's good to know, so that we know exactly where that we need to bevel. I'm gonna go ahead, and I think if you want to do the bevels all the way, oh yeah, so over here actually it can stop. Sorry, I just need to double check. It's very important that you check. So yeah, it kind of like scales down. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm going to just work on this one first. So I need to kind of do that out of my head because I don't have a reference for this. We do have like a reference that is flipped that we will use later on, but it doesn't exactly match up with this one, so I can just as well do this by hand. So let's see. If the trigger point is happening, where's the trigger point? Oh wait, this goes down. See? It goes down. But over here you cannot see it going down. That is the problem. If I just do an Alt X. Okay, let's do a see-through material, I mean, because Alt X does not seem to work as well. Okay, so that does transition down here. Which means I probably want to go ahead and just move it down just to create like something in this direction. Now it looks like that it goes down up until this point. So what we can do is we can just, in case, to make sure that it's exactly even, create a very quick line like this. Because we are looking at it from this side, this piece over here is obscuring it. So if we create a very quick line here, and now just go ahead and go to this one, we can do a quick swift loop. And I'm going to start with the swift loop around this point. And the reason I'm doing that is so that I can first of all just move this completely down. And then we can make this into like a nice bow. Double check. I'm going to do something. Right click unfreeze all. I'm just going to move my right click freeze selection. There we go. Just so that I can have a better look over here. Okay, so we are moving that down. Now if we just add a swift loop over here, we can go ahead and we can move this back. And you can try and chamfer it. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to add a few more swift loops like this, just because it's quicker, I feel. There we go. So that will just have like a nice smooth down, and then it goes straight down here. I know that is slightly different because this one smooths, or this one goes like this. And we are going like the inverted direction. But I think it will look more logical. So if we now switch back to like a... to a normal material. There we go. Sorry, I had Alt X on, that was the problem. Okay, so we got this stuff done. Now it looks like that, as you can see, it's... it will have this wave, but it is just above. So let's go ahead and just use this segment over here, for example. So I am quickly time-lapsing this because I accidentally made a small mistake. So I extruded it out, as you can see, a little bit too far. So we had to be more to the left. And I was extruding this out because I was mistaken about the edge between my magazine and the edge between where we will have later on our trigger ring. So that was just a little bit on my part. But even though making mistakes it's common, doesn't matter how much experience you have. So that's why I like to keep my mistakes in. And this is something new that I'm trying. Instead of me like fixing the mistake in the real time, which might be just like useless for in the tutorial, I'm just doing it in time lapse. So basically you see me here playing around, and then after a certain point, then you can see me that I'm realizing like that I pushed it too far to the right. So what I'm going to do is, in order to fix that, is I simply move this back, and I just go ahead and I just delete a bunch of faces over here, so that we have it on the correct point. As you can see over here. So the line was exactly aligned with where the end of the magazine. So I'm now just simply deleting the faces, and then I'm just re-bridging them. So you can see me doing the same over here, where I delete this, and I simply add a very quick extrusion here, so that I can merge these points together, and then I can simply bridge it together like this. And then I can also do the same here over at the end, where I bridge the end together. Should look better. Yes, so now it does look more logical to me. So now, if I chamfer this, oh, it has a duplicate vertex. Just go ahead and select all your vertices and just do a quick weld at like a very low value. That hopefully fixed it. There we go, that fixed it. Okay, so now I'm going to decide actually how low it needs to be. So I was a little bit off, but there we go. That's the handy thing, that it's easy to fix. Here, so I basically want to, when we have this chamfer at that strength, I want to go ahead and I want to hit it down here. Here, you'll know, here, see? So, okay, that should be good. So we got this piece over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just move these pieces because they are a little bit in the way. Up here, and then chamfer this one. I want this chamfer to be a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to move this. Oh, this piece is not completely straight. I'll make that straight later on. For now, all I care about is just moving this here, so that I can make this one bigger. See? Okay, great. That should do the trick. Geometry is messy as hell, but that is no problem. That's something that we can work on. Right now, the focus is that this looks like this. And it does. Okay, that is great. So I'm going to just quickly end this chapter off. I'm just going to clean up some of this geometry. I will just go ahead and I will do that very quickly in a time lapse because it's just merging stuff together. And after that, we can go ahead and we can continue just adding the bevels in the next chapter.